guys, so one of our projects this winter is to make this area. This is right outside our back door or garage door, and out here what we're wanting to do is take some of these plants out, some old rose bushes here and some other flowers and things, and of course some weeds, but we're going to make this area more of our apothecary garden and herb garden for this next season. So I'm going to spend some time working on that and getting it cleaned up and taking down this fence. We used to have a dog, and our dog would always run through there, so we have this little decorative fence that we put up around it. And I think the fountain's going to stay there, but I'm also going to want to run some electrical under the sidewalk and connect that a little bit differently. So I'm going to get started. We grew a lot of herbs and stuff this year to cook with, but we didn't do a real good job of having things for medicinal purposes in our garden. We're going to try to do a better job of that next year. So you've probably seen in previous videos I have the other beds I created in the kitchen garden for my wife to start herbs and medicinal plants and things in there. So we're going to expand that a little bit and create this little garden area outside of our back door for that same purpose. Well, most people, you probably have a lot of plants and things that you've grown around your place over the last season. I find that the season never really ends because you've got to do all the cleanup from the year before, and that's kind of where I'm starting with this project, is on the cleanup, getting all these spent limbs from the Turk's cap and some other things out of here. And I gotta clear it out enough to get our irrigation lines out. So we have these soaker lines that are in here, and we have some micro irrigation sprinkler heads that are in here. I'm gonna get all those cleaned up, and hopefully I can just pick these up and move them out of here and maybe do a little flame weeding to burn some of this off. Got to trim up these old rose bushes in here and decide whether we're going to keep them in here or try to relocate them. So I've got all the stems from the Turk's cap, and this is our compost pile here. And we've got two of them. This one is the new section that I've just started, and got one here that has been going for, oh gosh, probably a month now, or maybe a little bit more. It's got a lot of our compost pile. This under this brown tarp has a lot of our there are stuff we cleaned out of the chicken coops, and stuff from the garden waste, and manure from the horses, and all kinds of stuff that goes in there. And it is breaking down pretty good. Now we'll finish clipping those up into smaller pieces a little bit later. Right now I'll show you what this is looking like underneath. On the compost, one thing we like to do is we really like to keep a thermometer in there. So it does two things. See if you can see this. On the thermometer, in this case, it's down below the green, or down there around 70 degrees. It's about 50 outside today, so the only warm heat we're getting is probably thermal heat from the sun and the tarp that's over it. But when it's really cooking, we'll see on this thermostat, we've gotten these as high as 140, and that's when it's just really breaking down. Once they start to cool down, it's either time to turn it, it's finished, or needs more material in it. So I'm going to set this aside for the moment and show you what this looks like underneath. So this has been, again, this is garden waste and stuff that has come out of our cleanup over the fall. Oh yeah, I forgot we had some worm castings that we put in here, and that's what the white, you can see that the white paper that I have in there is from the worm casting box, and that obviously hasn't finished breaking down. Let me move you over here with me a little bit closer. You can see, I'll show you what this looks like. So before I get past the surface here a little bit, you can see it's still nice and wet and moist, but breaking down really nicely. There's a lot of horse manure, chicken manure, shavings from bedding, some paper, and again I've just put the worm castings. One of our worm bins has died, so I put the worm castings in there, which is fine. It's kind of part of one of its uses, but this is looking really good. And after being sifted, I bet this will be a great addition to that new herb and medicinal apothecary garden. So we'll get as much of this in there as we can. Alright guys, so I made a little bit of progress. Got the fence down, got the few weeds pulled out of there and some plants pulled out, trimmed the rose bushes a little, moved some of the irrigation out of the way. Still have a ways to go, but that's our first step for today. The other thing I did was use the leaf blower and blow a lot of the leaves and stuff out of there. A lot of crickets and grasshoppers and lots of other insects and bugs will live in those kind of areas, and I just believe that not giving them a habitat over the winter helps kill off a lot of those undesirable bugs that we don't want in our garden. So try to clean that up. I'll get the rest of this going later.